This is Pineleaf Niels, and welcome to the first episode of Pineleaf Plays the Lore Master. Traditionally, I've played the Warden quite a bit, so I have leveled every single class to level 85. While I'm getting ready to start leveling all those other classes and characters up to 95, I thought I would also, under Helm's Deep, start a new character. Now, since I've played so many Wardens, I in fact, have 8 of them that are at level 85 at the old cap. I decided I'll give another class a chance, in this case, the Lore Master. So let's create a new character. And let us, of course, do a Lore Master. And I think that will do, so we will continue. Now we're going to need a name for my Lore Master. And coming up with a good name is always tricky. So we'll start with, it's always going to have pine in it no matter what. Let's try Pine Wolf for now and see how that works. Now I'm going to come from the Breelands, because that's where you're most likely going to see a name that has the word pine in it, since that is where you have all these botanical names in the Breelands. And I suspect the name Pine Wolf is going to be a surname rather than a given name, but I would say a lore master might likely be someone who's going to be consulted for certain things, and people might be calling them by the surname rather than the first name, especially if it's a simple first name such as Tim or something like that. But now we will try to come up with some. We will not have too much in the way of usual things on here. Actually, maybe slightly graying. Well, I said slightly graying, not. Yeah. Since he's a little bit older than the usual characters I have. Yeah, alright. So that will have to do for now. Now, let's see. Some hair. Actually, I like that hairstyle. It's not one. Facial hair, I'm not usually into facial hair. Eyes. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe a little older than usual, but not that much older. Okay, some eyebrows. Details. What kind of details do we have? You like scars. Well, as I said, actually, that's where I started off at. Alright. I think that'll take care of everything. Now let's see if the name Pine Wolf is available. Yes, it is. Or at least no longer now. So now I have my character Pine Wolf, and I'm ready to start out. Now, I'm going to title each episode based on the level I am at the start of the episode. In this case, I'm going to say level 1. And go through level 1 on here. And if I level, I'll probably take a break as soon as after I level at, so that the bulk of what I do is going to be at the titles level. Alright, so let's enter into Middle Earth. Get an inside look at Western Rohan. Yes, and the latest things you need to know about the Helm's Deep expansion.
A chance encounter with brigands upon the road leads to captivity. You awaken with the Ranger Strider before you. As he urges you to act quickly, you realize you have become involved in matters much greater than yourself.
And of course, it has already been released, because this is the day of release. Now, I am going to set things up for my usual UI, layout, load, and I'll load my own layout style so that I can see everything fine. good. Now it's already loaded in all my plugins. All my favorite plugins are already loaded, so let us see. Alright. Strider brings me into this room here. I'm gonna need to... Oh. Well, I was just trying to get things labeled out. Where'd my bear go? Oh, there it goes. Right, that's one of the changes that we have since the previous expansion. We used to get the bear, I think it was like level 14. And you got the raven first at level 2. But now you get... I'm going to have to sort all this stuff out later. But I have all these promotional items that I've got here. Fortunately, I don't look too bad here, though. My ultimate theme is going to be in black. That's how I like to do my lore masters. And I'll just save a space by getting rid of those stupid scented candles. Now, I'm not going to worry about the experience stones at the moment, though I will decide along the way whether I want to pump up my experience or not. But for now, we'll go with the basic experience. Though I do have the XP bonus for being VIP. I don't know why I got that if I just created the character. There wasn't any time for any rested XP to accumulate. Alright, I guess those things aren't on yet. I'll get those sorted out later. So I get things to be where I want them to be. But yes, now you have the bear available in it. Okay, I've already got burning embers. Let's see how all this stuff has changed from the way it was before. Staff strike now is a new thing here. Sign of battle, wizard's fire. Burning embers, the sign will stir it up into searing embers. Has that always been the case? Or is that something new? Alright, gust of wind does frost damage and... Right, and that's the area. Stun attack roll 40 meters. See, actually it doesn't say it's an area anymore. Just says that this skill has a chance to spread the fire from burning embers to nearby foes. Ah, so while it's no longer an area attack, it now can cause the burning embers to hurt more people. Alright, that's interesting. And lightning strike, this skill can cash out burning embers for bonus damage. So therefore, you get extra damage from your burning embers. So all these in a way interact with burning embers now. So burning embers is even more than before a staple skill for the lore master. Now we've got our bear up. Now, what am I going to call my bear? Always the tricky thing, naming. Oh yes, I do have actually a set of names that I am planning on. Now this is a brown one. So when I get my main bear later on through jewelry, I will give a better name because I am going with a black theme, which means I'm going to try to have darker animal or darker pets than I would otherwise. But I'm planning on my bear to be called Obsidian, but he doesn't look obsidian enough. Oh. That. Alright. Click inside there. Let's see. What would be good brown shade? How about ochre? Actually, ochre is reddish, isn't it? Well, we'll stay that for now, until I could come up with a better name. Bring this down here. Now let's open up the satchel and see what's in here. Probably a staff. That's what's traditionally been in there. Yes, a 1 wooden staff. No, they're not going to give us a sword at level 1. I don't know when we get our sword now, but I'll presume I will get it at some point.
Test your will
I should practice
to fight.
combat with Strider. Alright, so I'm not going to have a chance to do a good burning embers, I think. Okay, the bear only gets a growl in before anything gets started on there. Alright, that is in my favorite stance. On the defensive stance. Alright, so everything is all set up, I think.
Well done. Let us
Alright,
press on.
let's follow Strider outside. Now, too bad I can't get a pet wolf, considering the name of my character. Maybe I should have called him Pine Bear instead.
Here is where we must part ways.
Alright, now let's defeat the captors. Oops. Of course, using all these extra buffs to Burning Embers isn't going to help me much at this level, seeing that I'm killing them before I can just with the Burning Embers. But that's a level 1 Lore Master. I'm not too sure I managed to do that under the old system. It's been a while since the last time I did the Lore Master intro. And that was on the elf side, not on the race of man side. Alright. Here's the last guy. Now, is he a bit more sturdy than the last one, or is he just as weak? Answers that question. And there we go. Now, how did someone contact me with an instant message?
Back! Go back to the shadow, fallen king.
Buffalo Bill. Okay. I don't know why I managed to get a tell. Alright, he sends me a tell, but he's anonymous. Frankly, if someone throws me a tell out of nowhere and is anonymous,
You will not harm these folk.
alright, apparently he wanted me to help him with something, which is rather unlikely to be useful to him, seeing that I am still in the starting instance. I mean, that's what you call sending a request randomly, if you don't even know that they're in the starting entrance, because you're saying something about with a skill deed. I mean, I can't help him with a skill deed from here. You just have to die for 30 seconds? You've got to be kidding me! I'm sorry, but I do try to go for level 20 without getting killed, and I do try to get the level 20 without getting killed, and so dying for someone's skill deed, he's probably trying for his res deed or something like that, which is, as I said,
I regret that I was but a moment
that's got to
too
be one
late.
of the more ridiculous
But all
requests
is
I've
not
ever gotten in
lost.
game.
Wounded by a black rider, the ranger Umdir escaped with his charges into the wild, making his way back to the village of Archit.
There, Captain Brackenbrook, a retired sellsword, has allowed Strider and his companions to stay and take respite from their cares.
And that concludes the tutorial section, which means we're now ported into the introduction with Keladine Brandenbuck here.
Thank goodness you're awake. That fellow Amdir seems very ill.
You're awake! Thank goodness! You were exhausted after what happened last night, but that ranger got us safe to Archet in the end. I'm terribly worried for his friend. Amdir looks very ill. You can check on him if you like. He is just over there to the west of where I am standing. Do you see him there across the lane? Yes. Yeah, that looks like them. So accept that quest. Not exactly what you call the hugest distance I have to go. Right?
Do not trouble yourself on my account.
Now, last time I
is
started this,
only
I can't remember
chill.
which skills I started. I think it was like Burning Embers. I can't remember if we got Staff Strike at the beginning. I think it might have been those two were it. So you start out now under Helm's Deep with a few more skills than you would have before. And especially getting the bear skill at this point is very new. So you're awake at last. You earned your rest, for you fought bravely last night. Well, I don't know about bravely. I just threw fire at 5 people and they all went down instantly. As for myself, I found no peace in slumber. Yes, you seem to be wounded there. The blade of the Black Rider pierced only my shoulder, though not deeply. Only a shoulder, and not deeply. I am chilled, but it is no matter. Well, what I've heard about Black Rider weapons, it is a very big matter. Thank you for your concern, but it is Strider to whom I fear. For whom I fear, he is charged with a great task, but he tarries for my sake, and for Archet's. Yes, I think it has something. I think Strider's task rings familiar, right? All right.
There are too many deeds to be done, all pressing, and none of them easy.
Hail, Pine Wolf! Amdir is right. I am torn asunder. I do not wish to leave him in this state, and Archet must be warned that the Black Wolves mean to raid the town. But I should be seeking a different Baggins right now. Yes, apparently he is here helping the wrong Baggins. Alright, so now we've got 3 choices here. 1 light, 1 medium, and 1 heavy. Now, from what I hear, heavy armor wasn't generally an option in the past because in the previous versions of the game, no one used heavy armor at the beginning, I got the impression, but it looks like that's one of the things they changed is that now the heavy armor classes can start with heavy armor. But obviously I'm a cloth class, so we'll start out with threadbare cloth shirt. Whoop-de-doo. It's more armor though.
Perhaps you can help, my friend. Captain Brackenbrook will not heed my warnings.
And that brings me to level 2, which will conclude the episode. Though I will want to get my new armor on, but that... Actually, if it were a different color, I probably would have just put the robe on top of it. But since the robe's the wrong color, because I am going to prefer a... if that were black, I would stay with the robe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the robe just in case it can... Actually, let me see if it's dyeable. Chest color. Yeah, that would be nice. So, if I ever get any black dyes, I may actually dye that and take care of it that way. But for now, this will have to do, simply because that's closer to black than what I currently have. But we'll continue on with the training in the next part for level 2 in the next episode.